basically giving us an overview of what has happened in 2012 as it relates to the real estate market here in Palm Beach County.
Okay, I think one of the best kept secrets in real estate is the fact that Palm Beach County and Florida as a whole is in mini recovery. The perception around the country is that we're still in the depths we were several years ago. The perception in the rest of the country is that this is one of the centers, if you will, of the real estate market slump. The fact is, the reality is that we're seeing sales increasing, and we're seeing employment increasing, and the state is coming back. Now, I'm not going to say that this is going to burst into fireworks and be where we were before, but we're gradually inching back to a more normal pattern, and I think that's positive news. I keep saying we're in a rut, but the floor of the rut has a mildly positive incline. And I think that's kind of a little understatement. But you know, the statistics say we're coming back, and it's not going to stop. It's going to continue.
And what are some of the variables that you feel have played into that mild recovery, so to speak?
Well, I think a variety of things. Number one is the price slump. Prices are always self-correcting, which means that when prices fall, people are attracted to properties. So we're seeing a lot of investment activity. We're seeing people with deep pockets come in, buy at the bottom of the market for holding purposes, maybe rent those properties out, but basically looking for a 5 to 10 year capital gain on buying homes. Prices right now are almost irresistible, you know, in terms of their relative values compared to historical norms. But the other part about it too is we're getting significant interest from people outside the United States. Between middle of 2010 and middle of 2011, 1 out of every 4 sales in Florida was to a foreign buyer. The predominant group are Canadians, but we also have a lot of South Americans, of course Europeans. And southeastern Florida, Palm Beach County included, is going to get a very large share of those, has gotten a large share of those, because this is a well-known area, it's got a lot of advantages, and foreigners feel very comfortable here. So we're seeing a lot of foreign purchases. By the way, I might add, because of currency changes, currency exchange rate changes, and because of the drop in prices in Florida real estate, foreign buyers get a very, very big discount over where they were 6 years ago. You know, for Brazilian, for example, a typical piece of property which sold for a certain price in 2006 is now about 65% cheaper in Brazilian currency than it was then. That's almost irresistible. And so we've got that component in there as well. We're getting people back now. As the economy begins to revive, we're seeing a trickle of in-migration that was not there 2 years ago. So all these things are factoring into the growth in real estate in Southeast Florida and Palm Beach County.
And that leads me, of course, to, if I had to ask you your forecast or really pin you down and say, what do you see happening in Palm Beach County specifically for 2012?
Well, I think we will see more of the same. I think we will see continued growth. We'll see employment growth, we'll see real estate growth, and clearly in terms of sales. Prices, on the other hand, may not respond the way sales are responding for a couple of reasons. First of all, prices always follow sales. You get a revival in sales, and then about 6 or 9 months later, you get a revival in prices. We're not going to see that revival in prices for a while. Now, adding to that, of course, are all the lender-involved properties that are in the market, REO, short sales, foreclosures, and these have a tendency to put a damper on prices. Right now, we're in a situation where lenders are feeding properties into the market at about the same rate they're being taken out, being sold. So the number of lender-involved properties is staying fairly even. It wiggles a little bit, but it's fairly even. And the net of that is that we're going to get a damper on prices. So the lag, which normally exists between sales revival and price revival, is becoming even longer. And so we may not see very much price response until late in 2012. And that may be the downside of all this, but on the other hand, it may keep the housing growth going because, as I said before, low prices are part of the attraction.
Okay. Good time to buy.
Yes, especially if you're patient. If you recall the psychology in the market, 2005, it's a great time to buy because tomorrow it's a great time to sell. And we had a lot of short-term mentality there. Right now, if you have a longer-term mentality, it's a terrific time to buy. As I said before, part of the sales growth that we're seeing throughout the state, and especially here in southeastern Florida, part of the motivation for that, or part of the driving force for that, has been investors who are buying cheap and looking to hold for a 5 to 10 year period. And I think that really is the rule here now. It's a patient market. You will make money in this market if you've got a 5 to 10 year time horizon. And believe me, the money that you're going to put out for that property now is nowhere near what it should be selling at if history was the norm. And it's going to be nowhere near the price it will sell at when you decide to get rid of it 5 or 6 years down the road.
So you'll see an increase if you buy today and sell 5 to 10 years down the line?
Yes, I feel that very strongly. I think that what we're looking at is a market which in 5 years will return to some sort of historical standard and some sort of normal market, and that will be a great outcome for people who buy now.